And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. It is a bit on the cold side out there. We're looking at temperatures near 10 below zero right now. And Bridgette, you look like you are cold over there in the truck. Where are you at, and what does it feel like out there?
I am in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, and I just looked at my temperature not that long ago. I was somewhere about a minus 12 as my weather was following me. It's a bit brisk. The hoses on the gas tank or on the fuel pump when I was going to refill my pickup, that actually was stiff. Usually that doesn't happen. So we'll see if this sunshine helps us out and we get a little reprieve and a little warmer weather over here.
Have you caught any fish yet, though?
Haven't got to the ice yet. That's the next step, guys. Getting there soon. On the way.
Well, when you get out there, make sure you bundle up. That wind chill is anywhere from about, let's just go a little vague and go 25 to 40 below right now across the region. So it's pretty cold out there. We do have a wind chill advisory that's going to remain in effect until Tuesday afternoon. And, it's possible we could even see that be extended into Tuesday night with wind chills around 30 below. So it is cold out there, but good news, there is warmer weather on the way. It doesn't look like it's going to come here until the weekend, though. So we'll touch on that forecast coming up on the show. And we have other fun things on the show, too. What more relevant than the extreme cold that we've been dealing with, but to see how the cattle are handling this. So we have a great guest on today, and that's going to be Chelsey Erdmann. Is that correct, Bridgette?
It is. She and her family farm near New Rockford.
Yep, and we're going to see how their cattle are handling this cold, what they're doing to help them out. And if you have any questions during that interview, or if you just want to call in during the show and ask a question or join in on the conversation, feel free to do so. Give us a phone call. We want to hear from you, 701-293-9000. And maybe you want to answer our question of the day. Dean, do you want to let them know what our question is?
Yeah, question of the day. We posted this on our Facebook. If you're a farmer or rancher, what is the strangest thing that you've seen or found while you were out on the farm, while you were out farming on the fields? What is the strangest thing you've ever seen, from UFOs, possibly, to other things? So, and speaking of aliens, Justin, I thought you'd like this. We'll touch on this a little bit later. NASA's rover just calculated, they've been up there for about a year on Mars, and they just calculated what the weather is like on Mars after a full year. So we'll kind of touch on that, too, to see if it's conducive for alien life up there. So
that'll be very fun and interesting, and I can already hear the Reynolds screaming my name, so I'm putting it on the back burner, but we'll see where it goes. And speaking of our question of the day, we've had some fun comments on there on our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus, ranging from very bright flashing lights up in the sky to a pregnancy test. Go figure.
Numerous.
Numerous. There we go. Well, at least we don't. It looked like they were negative, so we don't have to worry about the fields being pregnant. But yeah. I wonder how they got there. So again, if you want to call in during the show, answer our question of the day at any point, ask a question or join the conversation. Again, that phone number is 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email during or after our show at weatherorag@flagfamily.com. We'll get you updated from ABC News, then Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. Misinformation, hate speech, predators, identity thieves, all can be found on social media, and the Surgeon General says those are plenty enough reasons to question if age 13 is too young.
Most of the popular social media apps are ages 12 and up. Only Twitter has a 17 and older requirement. Many experts and parents insist restraints are needed. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says
social media, especially social media addiction, can have a negative impact on teens' mental health.
Even in China, where TikTok was developed, there's an age and time restriction on the Chinese version.
ABC's Derek Dennis. The debt ceiling to be the main topic when House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden meet on Wednesday of this week. McCarthy trying to force spending cuts in exchange for lifting the debt ceiling.
I want to sit down together work out an agreement that we can move forward to put us on a path to balance, at the same time not put any of our debt in jeopardy at the same time.
The speaker on Face the Nation on CBS. Training of police officers getting scrutiny since the firings of 5 Memphis cops charged with second-degree murder in Tyree Nichols' beating. A report out of the Police Executive Research Forum says training for more than 18,000 law enforcement agencies in the U.S. are outdated and inconsistent. ABC News contributor Brad Garrett is ex-FBI.
You compare it to other places, I mean, it's so much less. We spend 20, 25, maybe 30 weeks. There's a lot of countries that spend 8 months, a year.
Bomb-carrying drones targeted an Iranian defense plant in the city of Isfahan. Tehran says it was an unsuccessful attack, but a source told the Jerusalem Post it was a phenomenal success. The Hollywood Reporter says actress Lisa Loring, who played Wednesday Addams on The Addams Family on TV, died on Saturday. Her daughter says it was complications from a stroke. Lisa Loring was 64. You're listening to ABC News.
I love working on my cars, but I wish I had more space for my shop.
Give General Steel a call. In business for over 30 years and with over 5,000 five-star customer reviews, General Steel can help with projects ranging from RV storage and garages to churches, workshops, and even major construction for Fortune 500 companies. And all General Steel custom buildings are backed by our 50-year warranty.
But that's got to cost a fortune.
Actually, General Steel buildings are more affordable than other building options. And thanks to our highly efficient construction, you can go from dreaming it to enjoying it in no time.
I need to give the General a call. How do I get more information?
Call 866-96-STEEL or visit mygeneralsteel.com to find out what General Steel can do for your home or business. That's 866-96-STEEL. Our team will answer your questions and offer you a customized quote. Just call 866-967-8335 now or mygeneralsteel.com.
Fairmeadow Nursing Home is a 42-bed skilled nursing facility in fertile Minnesota. They pride themselves on the small-town, close-knit, home environment feel it provides its residents. And Fairmeadow Nursing Home is now hiring for the following positions: CNA, LPN, CNA therapy aides, dietary cook, dietary aide, and housekeeping aides. Fairmeadow Nursing Home and Assisted Living is committed to providing seniors a rich, meaningful, and dignified life, focusing on physical, social, spiritual, and emotional needs in order to provide the best life journey possible.
Hi, I'm Marcel Spears. Keeping our global neighborhood safe is a tough job, made easier by America's brave military dogs. These dogs keep our troops safe by sniffing out bombs and IEDs and locating enemy positions. Yet when these canine heroes retire, they're too often left overseas. American Humane works to bring these valiant dogs home and reunites them with their handlers for happy, healthy retirements. To learn how you can help, visit AmericanHumane.org.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us this Monday, chilly afternoon, 10 below zero, 111 right now in the afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Justin Storm with Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. And man, guys, I'm getting sick of the cold. You know, if we could just change this out for like anything above zero and maybe like 6 inches or more of snow, I'd be a happy camper. But there's no snow. It's brutally cold. I guess at least we have the sunshine, so that's a plus. But Dean, is there any nicer weather heading our way over the next 7 days, and what are the chances for additional snowfall?
You know, I mean, there is nicer weather heading our way. It's going to take till the weekend, like you said earlier. And any snowfall we get before that looks to be pretty minor, flurries or maybe a few snow showers. That would come Tuesday night and then possibly again Friday night into early Saturday. Not seeing much out of it. But temperatures all week are going to be in the single digits. At least we climb above zero as we head into tomorrow, and might even touch the double digits on Wednesday around 10 if we're lucky. And then back into the single digits for Thursday and Friday. Over the weekend, though, we do see temperatures warming back into the teens and 20s. That's good, but it comes with wind, as winds will be out of the, especially Saturday is going to be pretty windy with pretty strong winds out of the south, pushing in some of that warmer air. But, well, I mean, take what we can get. 20s is better than, we had wind chills this morning between 42 and 50 below. The coldest I saw was in Candue, where they bottomed out at 50 below wind chill. But
Can who?
Exactly. So they got the coldest temperature in the state, and we weren't far behind. So at least that is in the rearview mirror behind us, and just a cold week ahead with temperatures well below where they should be for this time of the year. But at least we're not dealing with what they're seeing in the far southern tier of the United States, from San Angelo, Texas, through Dallas and Little Rock and Memphis, a major ice storm in the far southern tier. And they're not used to that. I mean, they don't really have the equipment to kind of take care of the roadways if they do end up having a major ice storm that far south. So hopefully that doesn't turn out to be as bad as it looks right now. But that's what happens when you get these Arctic air masses that shove that far south. That pushes a storm track pretty far south too. So that's why really we don't have a whole lot of precip in the forecast. It'll be interesting to see after tomorrow how January goes down in the record books in terms of how we rank in snowfall, because we only had a few inches. So it's got to go down as one of the least snowier Januaries, that's for sure. But just how dry that ends up being is a little in question. And later on in the show, in fact, after we have our guest, Bridgette, we just got a new run of the LRC in, and I know we talked briefly about it at our conference that when we were in Herman, Minnesota, about when the possibility of our last frost or freeze would be. So we've got some new information on that, which we'll pass along coming up here after we're done with our guest on the last segment of the show.
Okay, so a couple of follow-up things there. First of all, I'm hoping that frost date gets pushed out further into the fall, but I know you'll tell me here before 2 o'clock. 2, we're going to later have a lesson in how to pronounce North Dakota towns, because it's can-do. That's the name, not can-do. It's can-do. And just to those residents up there, they appreciate it when you say it right, like Ypsilanti, south of Bismarck, or excuse me, south of Jamestown. That matters a lot to them. And our guest today is going to be great. If you have not followed Chelsey Erdmann, she's That's Chelsey on Instagram. I would definitely go find the time to look her up before we even get to our interview, because she's pretty exciting to watch. She farms full-time, got a couple of kids, and you wouldn't be surprised to see that today she'll probably have the kids in the tractor with her as they're moving snow and feeding cows. That's just a way of life.
And this time of the year, that's got to be tough. When you've got wind chills 30 to 50 below, that's got to be tough on the livestock.
Well, very tough. We're going to talk about that, and the difference of what you're doing now versus a regular day in the winter when we get to the 20s this weekend, because it's going to matter quite a lot what you're doing differently.
Oh, yeah. And how, and if you have any questions, be sure to give us a call, 701-293-9000. I'm curious, how do they keep, when it's this cold, how do they keep the ice in the tanks from freezing? How do they keep it there for the livestock? Yeah, or the water in the tanks from freezing. Yeah, it's
not always successful. How does
Right.
that sound? I talked with a producer this morning further down into South Dakota who said he had a frozen waterer he's going to have to take care of. So I think that's a good question, what they're using on the farm for Chelsey. I've seen, that cold weather snap that Oklahoma and Texas had earlier this winter. There were folks that took like trolling motors and hooked them to a car battery so that they could keep the water moving in the tank.
That's a good
in some of
idea.
the large stock tanks. Yeah, and that just helped prevent some ice buildup. And again, that was short term, and that was, it was below freezing. That was in Oklahoma, Texas. They're in a little different situation than, seeing a morning that was 14 below for actual air temp up here.
Might have to just light a campfire underneath that tank.
Well, they do. A lot of them do have heaters. And Ritchie Waterers, if you ever drive past a farm and you see the yellow ones with the red tops, Ritchie has been in business for over 100 years, and they are indeed one of those companies that has a long-standing reputation of a good product. And they try to keep waterers from freezing on a regular basis.
Well, stay tuned.
No.
Weather and Ag in Focus will be... Oh, go ahead, Bridgette.
I was going to say, unlike me, I'm heading out to agronomy on ice, and I'm looking forward to the ice, but don't tell everybody that.
I like the ice as well. But we're going to get our guest all squared up with us. Again, that's going to be Chelsey Erdmann. She's going to be joining us here in our next segment. So if you have any questions for her, we're going to be talking about how this cold is affecting her cattle, what they do. Do they do anything different to prep for this kind of cold? And so many more questions are going to follow from that. But give us a call, 701-293-9000. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tyler's Tree Service, we create different types of wood products such as live edge slabs, beams, posts, and dimensional lumber. We also custom mill wood for your creativity. To learn more, go to tylerscut.com. At Tyler's Tree Service, there is no stick left behind.
Most of us take our independence for granted, living, working, shopping, dining out. Without the support services that Red River Human Services provides for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, those everyday tasks would be unattainable. Your donation on Giving Hearts Day creates independence and brings joy and dignity beyond measure to the people Red River Human Services supports. Please consider a gift February 9th. Visit givingheartsday.org and search Red River Human Services.
Farmers know a thing or two about being tough, and they hold their wheat to that same standard. Their fields need to be able to take on anything, because there's no telling what tomorrow has in store. That's why Westbred brand wheat offers varieties like the new WB 9606, offering good stress tolerance, and WB 9719, offering outstanding yield potential and excellent standability. Meet your standards of excellence. Plant Westbred. Performance may vary.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective active ingredients for overlapping control of foliar and head diseases, and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro, the future of plant health starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Hi, I'm Jerry to tell you about Jail Chaplain's pre-Giving Hearts donut promo. February 7th, Sandy's will donate $6 to Jail Chaplains for every dozen raised glazed donuts sold. Order donuts for family, customers, employees, or frontline workers. Encourage them to support Jail Chaplains on Giving Hearts Day. Place your orders by calling Sandy's at 701-281-0430. Free delivery on 2 dozen or more.
It's Friday night date night. Can we go to Three Lions Pub?
Yeah. We can get the date night special. 2 meals and the 2 glasses of wine for $30.
Or Mama can get a whole bottle of wine for just $35. They also have Leinenkugel's Toasted Ale new on tap at Three Lions Pub.
Monday and Thursday are trivia nights with late night trivia on Wednesday and blackout bingo the last Tuesday of the month. First responders, military, and seniors get a 15% discount.
Friends, food, and fun at Three Lions Pub on 13th Avenue in West Fargo.
Tyler's Tree Service, we create different types of wood products such as live edge slabs, beams, posts, and dimensional lumber. We also custom mill wood for your creativity. To learn more, go to tylerscut.com. At Tyler's Tree Service, there is no stick left behind.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. Thrilled to have you joining myself, Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Justin Storm, Meteorologist Extraordinaire. We're holding down different parts of the state, from Fargo to Grand Forks out to Devil's Lake, and letting you know what's happening in each area. But additionally, we have a guest who's in the central part of North Dakota, and that would be Chelsey Erdmann. And Chelsey's joining us from the new Rockford area, Bremen to be exact. And Chelsey, do you want to go ahead and give our folks who are listening just a little bit of an introduction of who you are and what you do?
Yes, good afternoon. So happy to be here. My name is Chelsey, and I am a 6th-generation farmer and rancher with my family, living by Bremen, like was mentioned. We have cattle, crops, a feed business, and a feedlot. So that is what is keeping us busy on these cold winter days.
I don't think that's the only thing that's keeping you busy these days, Chelsey. You've got a burgeoning family. You got a lot going on. I'm glad to see you had a moment to get in the pickup versus just being in the tractor. Maybe that's an unusual place for you to be at the moment in this time of the day.
So we have had good luck today, and as of right now, I hate to even say this out loud, but everything is going as it should. Everything is working. So chores were done, and we did not have anything else to go and emergency manage. So yes, we're in the vehicle, and my kids are sleeping in the car seat. So fingers crossed again that they stay sleeping while we're here.
And Chelsey, on these bitterly cold days where temperatures are well below zero, what's the biggest problem that you have with livestock?
Good question. For us, it's things that go wrong. So if everything goes as it should, if tractors start on time, if gates don't break, chains don't break, waters continue to work. Random things go wrong on the coldest days. So if all of those can go right, our day goes much better. And then after that, we worry about keeping enough feed in front of the animals and fresh water.
I see.
And when you say that
are your
about feed, because you're increasing what you're doing as far as more protein, keeping everybody's internal combustion engines firing pretty high. Are you changing rations on the fly, so to speak, or do you keep things pretty steady right now as far as feed's concerned?
We have not changed our ration during this cold snap. We are increasing our volume, however. So we read the bunks every morning, and if it looks like we're falling behind or if it looks like they need something more, we're getting that out there. We are in the 3rd trimester now of our pregnancies, which is quite common across this area of the state. So that means that we're having less room internally for stomach forage because the calf is growing. If we get later on in the season where we have less room for them to increase forage in the ruminant, then we would change our energy needs.
I see. And when it comes to your cattle, I'm imagining things can kind of get on a pretty good routine with them where it's, wake up, do this, A, B, C, and then it's the end of the day. But how do things change when you have to plan for weather that's entering the area like that we've had the last few days? I mean, what changes? What's different when you're expecting temperatures at night to hit 20 below zero and wind chills during the day at 45 below zero?
Before it gets like this, we make sure that everything's fueled up and our emergency list of items that needs to be ready or needs to be done is completed. So the generator is ready to come out if something were to happen with our power. We need to make sure that our water keeps pumping. We need to make sure that we have tractors on backup if we would have something go down, that we're able to continue to feed these animals. And all the little things are buttoned up. You know what it's like, little things one at a time. It's dominoes. If one goes, they all go, and then from there the day is just shot.
And Chelsey, has there ever been a time where it's been so cold that you just could not keep the water unfrozen? And if that is the case, what do you do? I mean, because livestock can't go too long without some fresh water out there.
True. No, we have never been in that situation, thank goodness. We have 2 wells, so in the event that we have a well failure, we're able to switch over to another well, and we have multiple waters and access to that. So if a single water would go down and we were unable to unthaw it or get parts to fix it, we can move animals around in other pens to make sure that they have water. So always a backup plan and a backup plan to the backup plan to make sure that's never an issue we hopefully have to deal with.
Justin, did you have one earlier there?
Bridgette was going to go, so I was just waiting for a second. I was wondering when it is this cold, do your animals, do they have to be indoors more, or can they kind of bounce in and out?
Good question. So we keep our animals outside, and if we were to get them inside and outside, sometimes that's tricky. It's like us being inside a house and then hopping outside of a house, in and out. That's tough. So no, they stay outside, and that's something, I guess, one second, I'll try to get out of the wind here. Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay,
no
so
problem.
Prior to it getting this cold, we try to get our animals up and out of the wind. That is our number one priority. If we can keep them out of the wind, they can stay warm. So we've got windbreaks set up, and if it gets too cold, feed them up closer to the water so they have less area to travel to go get water. When it gets super cold, they don't like to go a long ways to get water or feed. They'll just stand and try to stay warm.
Okay.
So also it's important to have windbreaks this time of year, because that wind chill actually does matter for cattle. You want to try to keep them out of the wind as much as possible, and especially if you were closer to calving season, Chelsey, what are some of the things that would have to change in order to deal with wind and so forth if you got close to calving?
So once calves out of the ground or drop out of their moms onto the ground, they're coming out at 98 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And if it's 20 below right now, that is quite a temperature drop to go from 100 degrees to 20 below or even 40 below. So luckily we're not calving right now, but the people that do are utilizing the barns, like you were mentioning before, to keep the wind off those calves and to get them dry as fast as possible.
Often we get callers who say, hey, I'm concerned because I just saw cows and they had a bunch of snow on them. But that's not always a bad thing now, is it?
I think, did we lose Chelsey?
We might have. Oh, nope.
Yeah, I think we're cutting in and out with Chelsey. Why don't we see if we can maybe?
Her, shall we?
Yeah, let's see if we can get reconnected with Chelsey.
Let's go to break, guys. Jacob just said, hey, let's go to break and see if we can get Chelsey back on. So if you have any questions for Chelsey, give us a call, 701-293-9000. Again, that's 701-293-9000. We'll get reconnected with Chelsey right after the break.
Hi, my name is Rohith, and I'm a junior at Fargo South. I moved here with my parents at an early age, and I plan to study civil engineering in college. The reason I'm so hopeful about my future is Legacy Children's Foundation. I want to thank the amazing donors who are complete strangers to me. I am amazed by their generosity. Because of them, Legacy Youth receives resources and positive relationships to become educated leaders. Find out more at legacychildrensfoundation.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs
and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The famous chips. The potato chip, the chocolate chip, the computer chip, the poker chip, the paint chip, and the windshield chip. Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead wants to remind you that the difference in temperature outside and inside your vehicle can make a little chip grow into a real budget buster. So make your repair or replacement appointment today at Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead. Call or go online at glassdoctor.com/Fargo. That's glassdoctor.com/Fargo.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
Hi, I'm EJ Williams. Each year, millions of animals are abandoned, and more than 1 million are euthanized before they can be rescued. Organizations like American Humane are working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, as animals can be trained as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help veterans, the elderly, and children with special needs to overcome the obstacles of everyday life. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Meteorologist Justin Storm. And we are tickled pink to have with us our guest today, and that is Chelsey Erdmann. Chelsey ranches near Bremen, North Dakota, and for those of you checking your maps, that's up there by New Rockford. So, Chelsey, as we were going into our break, we had just asked a question about snow on cattle, because I get that a lot. Is it harmful that the cattle are covered in snow in this cold weather? And my take is that it's not, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
You're correct. It is not. Are you there?
Yep, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay. Yes. It is not. Snow on cattle's backs is actually something that we're very excited to see, and it's something we've been working toward. So like we talked about earlier, what do we do to prepare for weather like this? We feed our cattle enough before it gets cold so we can build fat cover to hold the heat in. So an animal such as a cow that is a ruminant has a fermentation process that goes on in the generator for heat inside their body. So if they're eating enough, they're generating heat inside. If the snow is on their back, that means they're retaining the heat that they're generating. If the snow on their back is melting, that means they don't have enough fat and the heat is escaping. So we're very excited to see heat staying in with snow on their backs, and that means they're warm, and as long as they're eating, they'll continue to stay warm.
And how long does that process take? Sorry, Dean, to feed them enough to where they can build up that fat pack?
It's something that we hope to continue throughout the year. So as a cow has a calf and then she nurses the calf, it takes her a little bit to build her body condition back, and we track that with a body condition score. It all depends how far down the scoring she gets before she gets brought back, but it's something we try not to deviate from, and it depends on how cows are. So some are easy doers like humans, and some are hard doers where it takes more feed. It kind of depends on the cow, but at this point we would hope that they were looking good not too long after they were weaned, and that's why we wean, to try to get our body condition score back up.
And Chelsey, is there any temperature, is there a set temperature, like, all right, this is just too cold even for our livestock, we have to do something, we have to bring them in or keep them warmer somehow? Is there any set temperature? Or I know they're hardy animals, they really are, and they can pretty much withstand quite a bit, but is there a set temperature, like 50 below, 60 below, where it's like, all right, they just can't handle it, it's too much on them?
So we actually do not even have barn space that if it would get to be hypothetically 100 below to bring them in. Our main objective when it gets to be that cold is keep them close, keep them fed. Like we mentioned before, as long as they're eating, they'll continue to generate heat. And if we keep the wind off of them, that is something that makes a big difference. It's actually quite remarkable to go into the feedlot where they're out of the wind and watch the calves run and kick and play, even when it's this cold.
Well, they've got some built up energy, and that's not a bad thing to see. And I've visited with a number of cattle producers, and we've had several as guests, but one thing to think about is probably your bulls, because they have an extremity that's fairly important. So are you bedding them down a little bit differently, a little more straw, trying to keep them in a place so they stay warm? Because literally you don't want to lose your genetics. Frostbite can happen, guys. It's not just ears and tails.
I'm glad you brought this up. So, the life of a bull. They have a barn. They get to go inside, and they are bedded deep. They live the life. Yes, we watch out to make sure that they are properly warmed and all of their extremities are kept away from frostbite as much as possible.
Meanwhile, all the cows are pregnant and generating a calf, and they're hanging around outside. So they're doing some heavy lifting. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was in studio with Dean, and I made reference to the fact that a producer had sent me a message on Twitter, and they were PGing cows. And Dean's like, what's that? Pregnancy checking. And you want to give an explanation on what you're doing for pregnancy checking, about the right timing of the year for that, et cetera? Chelsey, what's going on your farm?
Since we are crop and livestock farmers, we wean and then ultrasound early. So we are typically ultrasounding at the same time that we're combining pinto beans. So we'll shut the combines down for a couple days so we can ultrasound, and it is exactly like you would see a human be ultrasounded very early in a pregnancy. It's remarkable. So we ultrasound because then we can date more accurately to the day of when exactly these cows were bred, and therefore get a better birth date idea. So we do that, and then any cows that are not bred do not stay because it costs a lot of money to keep a cow through the winter. So she goes into a different plan. We feed her and then sell her as an open cow, and the cows that are bred go to grass so we can improve their body condition score now that they are no longer nursing a calf by side.
But not everybody ultrasounds. So that's when Justin was pointing to his elbow, thinking about a glove, but it actually would go higher to your shoulder, Justin.
We'll go a little further up then. I was wondering, is there anything different that you do for the pregnant cows versus the non-pregnant cows when it comes to winter maintenance and prepping them for cold? Do you have to give them extra feed? Are there extra vitamins or minerals that you have to do, kind of, like prenatals for people? Is there anything like that?
Yes, we keep our cows on a mineral program year-round because we've seen the benefits that brings. And if cows are open, they're on a completely different ration because their objective is to gain weight and become fat cows to go for slaughter, make burger, make steaks and things like that. And we'd like to turn the fat white. So the cows that are pregnant, we're watching their protein intake, and we have a nutritionist actually as part of our team to make sure that they're getting everything they need to provide a healthy calf and stay healthy themselves.
And Chelsey, I think
go ahead, Dean.
Okay.
I'll hold.
Okay, I think you touched on it earlier, Chelsey. I mean, you've got kids, you're raising cows and crops, and you're just a busy individual. But you also have your own blog. Is that correct? And you're in the process of writing a book, or do you already have written a book?
We actually play a game as a family every New Year's Eve. It's called Hokey Pokey, where we shuffle around some bowls with a ring, a cracker, and a coin to see what the year will bring, if it'll be lucky, full of money, or a good crop. So from that, we created a memory book to record what those bring and then exactly how the year went after to see if our foreshadowing was halfway correct or not.
And how accurate has it been?
I should go back through my mom's stenographic notebook. She has years and years, decades actually, of information. And some years it hits the nail on the head, and some years it depends how you look at it. If you squint a little, it makes sense.
So, Chelsey, this question does come up from time to time as well as folks, because about half our audience is urban in the Fargo area. And they're thinking, so what are you doing this time of year? You've got the livestock, but that probably only takes you a little while during the day and you're not out in the field. I know that's not necessarily the case, but on the other side of your production, when it comes to your cropping system, what are some things that you're doing right now thinking about getting ahead for spring?
We've been trying to haul grain, and that was going well until the elevator got full. So we're currently shut down waiting for the go-ahead to get back on the road with grain trucks. We're marketing for next year. We're meeting with our loan officers to get our operating notes in place. We're making lots of plans, price checking, laying out exactly how next year will go, and then we're working in the shop. And by we, I mean I'm not mechanically inclined. I'm in the office and the rest of the crew is in the shop. But we're making sure that all the trucks are ready to go. Any little projects that did not get taken care of during the busy season because we didn't have time, that's taken care of. So when it's time to go, we're ready to go.
So explaining all of those things is something you do extremely well. And is it that your blog started first or your Instagram started first? Because that's a way for folks to really follow along with what you do on a daily basis. How'd you get to bringing all that to light for consumers?
So what a blessing it is to have auto steer and time in the tractor to think. And my mind was one that continued to think. I could not sit in the tractor. So looking out at the beautiful, incredible life we have, it was something I felt should be shared. So I started an Instagram to take pictures and show people what it looks like out here, because I feel like they're missing out. They don't get a chance to see what a beautiful life this is.
I think it's been a great story to tell. And what's been some of the feedback that you get from those who watch what you do on a daily basis?
So good. People are incredibly kind, and I think that this world is filled with people that still look to see the best in others and people that are excited to see a different aspect of the world. Agriculture has done a really great job, I think, on social media in general, sharing what we do with the world. And we all eat. We're all touched by agriculture. And even more than that, I think people are excited to see how much agriculture influences other aspects, other industries besides just food.
And it's not just what you're doing on the farm and ranch. What are some of the other things? I mean, I know you've done some work with Stockman's Association. You were one of their speakers at their Top Hands conference, but there's always a lot of community involvement in rural areas. Are there any other things that you take as well?
As far as speaking engagements, I really love to be on panels because I can show up and they ask me the questions and I don't have to come prepared. Since having kids, having time to put together things like that has not been as high on the priority list as it used to be. But yes, like you said, communities that are small and rural all lean on each other. So I appreciate helping where I can because those organizations make a difference for all of us.
Right. And we all know how much time, I mean, it's a full-time job, more than a full-time job to either do farming or ranching. And here you are doing both and raising a family as with all the other things that you have going on. How do you balance that during the busy time of the year? And I'm kind of referring to the growing season, and I'm making an assumption just because you have both operations going on at the same time.
In the spring, when we are finalizing calving and getting in the field, it is absolutely wild. But we do it because we have a village, the absolute best village around. So my kids come to the farm with me every day, all day, and we play musical kids. So whoever has the safest job or the most interesting job ends up taking a kid or two, and they bounce around between us all day. And it is absolutely only possible because of the village.
And how do the kids, how are they enjoying that? Do they like going out there and getting a little dirty from time to time?
I'm not sure they really understand how special it is because they don't know any different. They've been doing this since they were born. It wasn't anything we talked about. I just showed up at the farm with a baby and now I have 3 and we just kept showing up with more kids. It's just what they know.
And are the
So
kids,
Justin,
are they,
Justin, wait a sec. I got to jump in here, Justin. Chelsey, you don't know this, but Justin became a new dad this past fall. He's actually just looking to see if he can drop his baby off too, and if anybody would notice one more child in the mix of things.
2 to 3 was much easier than 1 to 2. So I feel like at this point, what's 4?
You know, I was gonna ask, depending on the kid's age, I mean, are they showing interest that they want to continue down the footsteps as the family? And you had mentioned that you're the 6th generation, so are they thinking about becoming the 7th generation? And again, I'm just kind of making an assumption based on their age. I'm not sure if they're at that point or not to kind of have that idea.
They're currently 4, 2, and recently 5 months, and they all have 5 cows. When they were born, we bought them 5 cows. We figured if they were coming every day and they were doing chores every day, they might as well be invested. So they are, I consider them 7th generation. That is a great question. I'm so glad you asked. I don't ever hope or pray that they come back. I only tell them that we will have an opportunity for them if they so choose, and otherwise go follow your dreams. This life is tough and it's hard, so if they want to be here, I want them to feel like it was their choice and never that it was to make us proud or continue on the farm.
And that's just a great way to put it.
It is. It's really the perfect way to add to what we've been talking about today. And so, Chelsey, for those who want to follow along with your blog or with your IG or any of those things, or you never know, maybe somebody wants to come out and buy their 5 starter heifers to get their own herd started for their kids. Hint, hint, Justin. Where would they find you?
I am on the internet at ohthatschelsey.com and Instagram, ohthatschelsey. And I would love to talk to you.
I think we have some folks who are probably going to make sure that they do that. Sign up, follow Chelsey. She's been a great follow for me on IG, but just also her explanations are outstanding as to what's going on and why every single day. So thank you for joining us, taking time out of your day. We really appreciate it. And we are going to touch base with the American Ag Network with markets and be back right after that.
On the next Coffee Club with Janae and Ronnie.
Next time on the Coffee Club, it will be Monday, where we feature another amazing small business in our area, which is Mixed Scuba. Also, we'll have my Did You Knows?
And Great Harvest Spread trivia. Plus, we are getting ready for Giving Hearts Day. So all next week, more interviews with terrific nonprofits in our area.
The Coffee Club, weekdays 8:30 to 11 on AM 970 and 93.1 FM WDAY.
Hi, I'm Carson Kressley. Of all the resources in the world, kindness is the most precious. For more than 140 years, American Humane has been working to protect animals in disasters, on farms, on the silver screen, and in zoos and aquariums, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. You can help too by making humane choices every day. Visit AmericanHumane.org for simple ways to build a more caring and compassionate world for all of us.
In many countries around the world, medical care is scarce. From birth defects to serious injuries and illnesses, countless millions have no access to safe surgery. Mercy Ships is there to help. With a team of volunteer professionals, nurses, surgeons utilizing state-of-the-art hospital ships, Mercy Ships provides free surgeries for the thousands of those who are waiting for surgery at each port.
Mercy Ships is bringing services to countries that would otherwise never be able to access those services.
We just see people that need help. You realise that they have no way of getting help, and I want them to know that they're loved.
Help make a lasting impact and turn someone's fear to joy. Find out how you can help by visiting our website at mercyships.org for more information. That's mercyships.org.
Soybeans led the way today. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this closing market. All three grains started the day higher at the opening bell. However, corn and wheat did stay pretty much in their trading range all day. Soybeans, though, we did surge higher for most of the day. The soy complex surged higher, led by soybeans and meal, as Argentina followed some scattered showers midweek, looks to turn drier once again. The 16 to 30-day weather outlook returns to dryness. That, coupled with the return of China from a week-long holiday break, has brought buyers back in to start the week. Kansas City wheat stayed higher for most of the day and up for the fifth straight day on winter kill concerns. While corn was having some trouble mounting any sort of rally, however, we did see a sale to Japan this morning of 4.4 million bushels for the 22-23 crop. Now, this week is Fed week on Wall Street, which means that Wall Street will be zeroed in on this week's meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee as it reviews its monetary policy. Those meetings will take place tomorrow and Wednesday, with the schedule to release its revised monetary policy statements at 1 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, followed by a press conference with Fed Chair Jerome Powell 30 minutes later. Now, every word will be parsed for signs of a shift in their policy to a more dovish stance. Market puts about a 99% odds that the Fed will raise its benchmark interest rate by just 25 basis points this time, so anything else would be a surprise for traders. Let's get a look at the final closing numbers. March corn up 3/4 at 683 3/4. March beans up 25 3/4 at 1535 1/4. Wheat Chicago March up 2.5 at 752 1/2. Kansas City March up 4.5 at 873 3/4. And the March Minneapolis wheat, that was down 1 1/4 at 920 1/4. Live cattle February up 202 at 158.75. Feeders March up 45 at 183.92. And the February lean hogs, they're down 72 at 75.15. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet.
Hey, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon on this cold late January day. 6 below right now. Wind chills are 20 below or colder across much of the area. So bundle up if you're heading outside. And it's cold here, but I'll tell you what. It's not as cold as it is on Mars. That's Bridgette shaking her head. Justin's got his tinfoil hat on, and so NASA's Mars rover just came back. Well, not back, but back with information. Over the last year on Mars, take a guess what the average temperature, so that's an average between the high and the low. You guys want to take a stab at it? Bridget's got her hand raised.
Bridgette.
All right, I'm going to go with 110 below is their average temp.
No.
I'm going to go 79 below.
Justin gets the prize. 67 below is the average temperature, but it fluctuates by more than 100 degrees. And the reason being, think of it's a very dry atmosphere. So like the desert or the Southwest, you can heat up very quickly in the day, but at night you cool down very quickly. That happens with dry air, and that's what is going on the land of Mars, the planet of Mars. What about the winds? What's the peak? And this kind of surprised me, and I'll double check this because this doesn't seem right. But the average, it was either the average, it had to be the average wind speed and not the peak wind speed. What do you think the average winds are on the planet of Mars?
45.
Close.
60.
55. Man, Justin was closer again. 55 miles an hour, so incredible. And you want to talk about a spread in temperatures currently, right now, across the United States, between right now the warmest spot in the U.S. and the coldest spot in the U.S. What do you think the difference is in temperatures?
Oh, it's
92.
Gotta be a good, I was going to say an 85-degree swing.
141-degree swing.
Ooh.
It is 83 right now.
Gross.
83 in Miami. That's the place to be. And it's 58 below right now in Peter Sinks, Utah. Ouch.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, that's out of control.
Cold.
That is cold.
That's really cold.
They're
I'm going to head over to the phone lines here real quick. Sorry, Dean, to cut you off
Go.
there. Let's bring Wade into the conversation. Wade, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What's going on?
Bridgette, when you go ice fishing, use hot dogs. You'll catch the largest northerns you'll ever see.
Wade is exactly right. I know lots of guys that use hot dogs for northerns, and then if you catch a perch, you're supposed to pop the eye out and put it on the hook, and that's what you use for walleye. Am I right, Wade?
That, or in the summertime, catch grasshoppers, put them in a paper bag, freeze them, and then take them out and put them on your hook for ice fishing. And that'll catch
absolutely
walleye also.
Yep, those are great tips. So
and
I don't know if I have a chance to stop for a hot dog, but I'll try.
Try the spicier ones, and you'll get maybe a muskie.
I had no idea.
Really?
I
No
gotta
way.
make a stop at the grocery store. I gotta go shopping, you guys. Thank you, Wade. I appreciate all those tips.
Later, bye.
That is awesome. Wow.
Oh, thanks for calling, Wade. Appreciate it. Who would have guessed?
A hot dog to
I had
catch
no
northern.
idea. No, spicy hot dog for the muskalung.
For the muskies. Yeah, I obviously have to go to the grocery store. I wasn't intending to, but Wade's got me on the hook, literally. So I can go ahead and figure this out if it works. We'll find out.
Oh, man.
Oh, there we go. Any other fishing tips? Give us a call, 701-293-9000.
So are you going for walleye, or are you going for northern out there? What are you going for, Bridge?
So we're in the bay right next to Woodland Resort, and I will be there for agronomy on ice. And there will be so many people and so much noise. I bet there's not a fish for ages around us. But the reality is, if I wanted to, I would probably go for walleye if I had my choice. And there's the guides have really great specific spots on Devil's Lake that they'd want you to go for those. Perch is kind of an easy fish. Once you fillet them out, you can just boil them and cover them in salt, pepper, and melted butter, and they're quite tasty. But if you wanted a little better fish, I'd probably go for the walleye.
If you get some extra ones, can you bring some back? There's nothing better than fresh walleye. Oh, so good.
I will see what I can do. And
All right.
also, Agronomy on Ice has an official beer. I'll see what I can do for you there.
Oh.
And Kevin from one of our morning shows asked if I have any extra caramel rolls. I should drop them off too. So I have a whole list.
You should
Whole
drop the
list
caramel
to
rolls down the
accomplish.
hole and see what you catch. Who knows? Maybe you'll get an eel pout.
Probably another fisherman.
Yeah,
No,
right.
eel pouts are a Minnesota.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, eel pout is a Minnesota thing. That's not going to be over here.
Yeah,
Not
right.
in North Dakota.
All right.
I see. And I think we got
Well, we got it though, guys.
another
It's-
caller too.
Another caller?
Teresa's on line
Okay.
1.
Yeah.
Teresa, go ahead.
Hi.
What's your question?
Just about the fluctuation of temperature.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't happen is they didn't say it was in higher elevation.
Correct.
Because I was at the northern Grand Canyon. Is a whole different ball game between temperature there and then at the bottom of the mountain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that town in Utah, Peter Sinks, it's actually about 8,100 feet up. And it's in between a canyon where it actually traps the cold air. So it's...
Wow.
Yeah, so that would be the reason for the big difference. But...
Yeah, because, in the northern Grand Canyon, it's 10,000 feet above the sea level.
Yeah, and you're right. It's totally different in the northern part of the canyon, without a doubt. And that's a beautiful place, too. If anybody's ever...
It really is.
Yeah, if you've never been to the Grand Canyon, boy, not in the wintertime. Wintertime's not the time to go.
No.
It's
They're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the northern one, they close in October. The southern one, they kind of keep open sometimes till January. They might close it in February. But, normally it does stay, the southern one does stay open year-round.
Mm-hmm.
But, the northern one, we start closing end of September, October.
Sure. And Teresa, and where are you calling from today?
Central Minnesota.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to Weather and Ag in Focus. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you, guys.
All right. You have a great day. And we've got about a minute left, so we're going to run down the national weather real quick. This Arctic air is encompassing much of the Rockies, northern plains. This goes all the way down deep into Texas. San Angelo, from San Angelo to Abilene to Dallas to Little Rock to Memphis. Major winter storm producing snow and ice. In fact, some areas down far south, areas that aren't used to seeing it, could pick up about a half inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice, which really is a problem because they do not have the equipment to remove it from down there. But as we said, the good news is we will warm up into the teens and 20s by the upcoming weekend. So for Justin and Bridgette and myself, I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1